This is the Kia EV5, the little brother to the EV9 7-seater SUV, with which it shares a lot of things, in particular the brutalist styling from the folded paper school of car design, which I find particularly unappealing. From some angles I'd say downright ugly. But if the EV5 could talk, it would almost certainly find me quite unappealing. So we're even. But after driving it for over 1,650 kilometres over a couple of days, that is my worst criticism of this very good car. After all those miles, even after dealing with various charging issues not related to the car, I felt relaxed and fresh. It's not a sporty car, but I really enjoyed driving it. Look, if you haven't got time or interest for the whole road trip story, I'll give you the executive summary. Even though it's not huge, this car feels really spacious inside. It's tall and the seat's really high and the vision's excellent. But the back seat is also really good too. Obviously they're targeting families. It's everything that I don't look for in a car, to be honest. I like them low slung and small. It doesn't have any sporty pretensions. The steering is heavier than you might expect, which I quite like, but it still points quite well and it's easy to position on the road. The ride's a bit springy, but it's quite well damped over potholes. Now with a huge battery under the floor weighing almost 600 kilograms, it doesn't roll much and it's stable on bad roads. Look, the power is modest, but it is smooth and takeoffs are a bit leisurely, but it's perfectly adequate for the job. Overtaking was still quite easy, but I've never felt the inclination to put my foot down just for the fun of it, to be honest. Now, the ergonomics of all the tech stuff is very familiar, pretty much the same as all the modern Kia and Hyundai models. So lots of buttons, logically placed, the ones you need right there on the steering wheel. Especially the iPedal paddles that manage the regeneration, including the one pedal driving. And the far side of the screen's a long way away too. Fine if you're Michael Jordan, but still a stretch for me, and I'm quite tall. The sat-nav, the ability to locate charge stations, and the connectivity stuff is really good. Thanks to a 10-year subscription with regular over-the-air updates, you get weather and traffic, you've got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, lots of big fonts well laid out, so it's not too hard for old codgers like me to learn and use. So after 2 days behind the wheel, fine. And all the ADAS smart safety stuff doesn't interfere too much as well. Just a couple of things you have to turn off whenever you get in the car, but otherwise well calibrated. Now, being a heavy front-wheel drive car, in the wet, uphill, on corners, it can struggle for grip, as you'd expect. My preference would definitely be for an all-wheel drive version, which means going up to either the Earth or the GT line, if you want all the fruit. But a lot of the stuff in that GT line is just gimmicks to me. The fake sounds, fingerprint identification, rainbow lighting, don't need that. Probably the Earth would be my pick, although it doesn't get the pano roof and the ventilated seats though. So whether it's the cheapest front-wheel drive one at around 56,700 on the road, or the GT line at 75,900 on the road, if you can stand the looks and you do want a well-established brand and you don't want a Tesla, go right ahead. You won't be sorry. So there you go, that's the summary. But now if you want to stick around for the rest of the video, let's find out how practical it is for a long journey. Okay everyone, road trip today, 800 Ks, 500 miles, when I heaver. It's 6:30 exactly, D for drive, and away we go. What's it like to drive this car? I'll give you my full impressions in about 1,000 Ks time, but first impressions, when I first sat in this seat, I thought, oh, somebody's left the seat all the way in the up position. No, it was all the way in the down position. That is fully down, and I feel like I'm the bus driver with no lateral support. Whatever a bucket seat is, this is the opposite. It's quite firm though, there's good support, and it's got this nice cloth trim. I like cloth trim. It'll probably get a bit stained with me working on the electric Porsche all the time, but I can tell you this is not a performance car. This is family transport. It boings, when you come to a stop it goes boing boing, but incredible view, just like Australians love. You're sitting really high, great big mirrors, small pillars, terrific view. You can see the kiddies in the back there. Shit, I've lost the kiddies. And of course it's a Kia, and we know cars from the Kia Hyundai group are really well made. It feels really solid. I'll tell you more at the end of the trip, but that's my first impression. So what is it? It's a Kia EV5 AIR, which is the entry-level range. Front-wheel drive, long range though. We've got the big battery, the 88 kilowatt hour battery, so it's got a decent range of indicating still 450 k's if I leave the air conditioning on, maybe 500 if I don't. So it seems pretty good. It's a little noisy on this concrete road right now, but that'll settle down in a minute when we get back on the bitumen. And the world is full of white dual cab utes today. Wherever you look, everybody's in a white dual cab. No criticism, entirely practical work unit. Because it's a Monday morning and everyone's off to work, including me. So why are we doing this trip? 3 reasons. Firstly, I'm visiting a nice resort, which we'll see later on today, with a guy who's keen on EVs, so we'll have a chat about that later. Secondly, I want to review the car, the EV5, and tell you all about it. But mainly, I want to test the charging infrastructure on the way. I want to see what it's like to own an EV if you're doing a trip to Queensland and stop at a lot more charges than we have to, so I can see whether they're working, how fast they charge, whether they're blocked, whether they're broken. And I'm going to stop quite frequently just to see, you know, how practical it is to live with an EV in 2025. Hi Siri.
Hey Stuart, how can I help?
Navigate to Tesla Supercharger, Raymond Terrace.
Getting directions to Tesla Supercharger.
Go. That'll do. We're going to make our first charge stop, a Tesla one. That hopefully will be open to non-Teslas, because we're not in a Tesla, which today is a good thing, I think, in the current political climate. We found Tesla. Okay. First charge. Let's see how this goes. Is it a Tesla plug or is it a yay? 1D. Start charging. Plug in to start.
Start charging.
That easy? But it's 80 cents per kilowatt hour. 62% when I got here. Yeah, and look, heaps of room. 12 charges, 2 being used. So time for my first coffee of the day. 15 minutes later. It shouldn't have taken 11 minutes just to warm up a croissant, but holy crap, where are we? 88%, time to go. Oh, that's hilarious. I just bumped into a lady, she's wandering over there, who didn't want to be on camera, but that's her MG4 X-Power, exactly the same as mine that we reviewed yesterday. And we're in Petrolhead City round here, and she said her husband's a petrolhead, never thought he'd get an EV, didn't want to ever get in it, now he can't get out of it because all his V8 loving mates are just in awe of the performance of the thing, so that's hilarious. So there you go. So I'm sorry she didn't want to go on the camera, but how are we going? Time to stop charging. What have we paid? 26 bucks. And we're already at 96%. Stop charging. Stop. That's way more than I wanted. Well done, Tesla.
Turn right. Turn left.
Turn left. Turn
and
right.
Then
turn right.
Turn right.
Whatever.
Turn right. And then, at the roundabout, take the 4th exit.
Whatever.
At the roundabout,
take the
continue
second.
Straight. And then, turn left.
Right. I mean left. Right, this is not the world's fastest EV. In fact, this is probably the slowest EV I've been in, but it may even have enough to blow off a Hilux diesel ute. Maybe. Yep. And just to set the record straight, actual speed 110, indicated speed 116. So I'm not speeding, slowing down because of that adaptive cruise control. Out we come. It picks up speed again. EV chargers, where are they?
In 200 metres, the destination is ahead.
Customer parking, nope. KFC, nope. I found some. Looks like they're over here.
Finished.
EV chargers, and let's go this one. Nobody here, just 2 chargers. Let's see how well EV works, because it's only a short lead by the look of it. Number 2, unavailable. That looks like a big fail. EV charger not showing anything there. Looks like it's not even powered up. Unavailable, unavailable, all unavailable.
Thank you for calling the EV Networks helpline.
3 days later.
I'll go ahead and check just a second.
Okay. How exciting.
All of them is under repair right now.
Are they?
We are still working on it.
Your other one's heading north to Queensland from here. Are there many others offline at the moment? Do you know? The EV tritium chargers at Tyndale. I'm not there yet, but I've got a feeling they're all offline as well. Can you tell me?
Let me check. Yeah, there is. It's offline as well.
So all the ones at Tyndale are also offline. Okay. Do you have any working between here and Queensland on the Pacific Highway heading north? Do you know?
North. Let me check. It's quite far.
Quite far.
Well, it would take 1 hour and 25 minutes to go.
Okay. Thank you.
That's
Thanks
it.
a lot.
I do apologize for inconvenience. Is there anything else?
No, there's nothing else. Thank you. Bye. Thanks for your time today. That's
All
good.
right. Thanks for
Okay.
calling, Evie.
What a helpful guy from an unhelpful company. Well, one quick pit stop and a chicken roll later. That was a complete fail, wasn't it? So let's consult PlugShare, see if there's anything else locally. Just the Mid-Coast City Council details. It's only 22 kilowatt. Now our rules today, we're only stopping at fast chargers, at least 50 kilowatt. Got to be DC chargers. So we won't go there. So I guess we'll carry on another 80 kilometres, 100 kilometres or so up to Port Macquarie. Now that was only just 2 minutes off the highway, so there was no real inconvenience to come here. And it sort of reinforces the ABC, always be charging, but ideally you just have like one stop or two stops all the way up to the border, 1,000 kilometres. But for our exercise today, we're stopping frequently to experiment with exactly that kind of thing. Port Macquarie Service Centre. Oh, it's only 63 k's.
Have a pleasant drive.
I will. So there are various ways that you can find chargers when you're driving, because you don't want to be mucking around with this thing too much. So let's just go back to basics. If you touch home and slide along here, EV, and then you can just hit that thing there and it'll find local chargers. And there's nothing too local. It says the nearest one is the one I'm going to, Charge Fox at Port Macquarie, 47 k's away. Not too bad. Or the EV1 at Taree South, which we now know is not working. Another way would be to go to CarPlay, where I've got both PlugShare running. PlugShare will get you there, but I've already programmed in the destination I want while I was stopped into Waze. Waze is good because it shows me lots of other things, police and cars stopped, and it's a really good navigation app. So that's the easy way. So now I can just settle back 20 minutes, half an hour or so, and we'll try our luck at the next one, which is not EV, it's a Charge Fox NRMA, but there are only 2 chargers there. Hopefully they're available. Hey Siri, play 500 miles on Spotify, because that's how far I'm going today, 500 miles. Do you know what haver means? When I haver, it's Scottish. It means when I talk a lot of shit, as in had too much to drink and start sprouting a whole lot of nonsense. That's what havering is. Bet you didn't know that, unless you're a Scot. Any more and we'll get a copyright strike. Wasn't easy, but we found them. Preparing your session should start very shortly. Oh, this is the suspenseful moment when you're waiting for it to start. And we're away. So, gentlemen's just arrived. MG4, fabulous little car. What do we got over there? BYD and us. So we've actually got 4 chargers here, and we've actually managed to get us 3 cars charging. So we're lucky this time. Hooray! We had a fail at Taree, but success at Port Macquarie. So I'll just chill and we'll put some volts in.
A few minutes later.
And sure enough, we got a little out of order thing. Oh dear. So all of a sudden, what have we got? Oh no. It's just stopped on me for no particular reason. And it's not charging. So how do we release the plug? It's stopped and it's locked the plug in. Unhelpful. We only got 22 kilowatts before it gave up on me. Wonder why. port A. Faulted. Oh dear. See, it's not easy, is it? Has it let go of the plug? Nope. Oops, and we're stuck. So it's got a fault and it won't let go of the plug. Oh well, there's only one thing to do now, and that's run away before the teacher comes and we get in trouble. May as well try and help them out.
Welcome to ChargeFox. You're speaking with Sam.
And it shut down the charge, and that's fine. I've got enough to keep going, but I just thought you might want to reset it so the next person who arrives has some sort of chance.
Absolutely.
So I thought we should actually give it a second go just to see if it trips out again. And it actually has started. She's reset fairly quickly, and we'll just try it just to see if it recovered. This time it's ramping up nicely. 87 kilowatts. It was about 80 kilowatts, slowing down a bit as the chap next door's just managed to plug in as well. So only so much capacity to be shared. ChargeFox Ballina. 300 Ks. Very fast. 3 CCS very fast. Go now. New drive. Okay, 300 Ks. Living on the edge. There it is, finished. So I'm kind of glad it hasn't gone to plan today. I mean, it's good that you can see the real world. Okay, and we're coming into Maxville. 430 Ks since we left home. And this section here, I gather, is a bit of a charging wasteland. We haven't got enough range to get to our destination. Now it says Maxville BP Pulse. It's only one charger, and it's occupied, 75 kilowatt. So we won't even bother with that one. And then there's EV at Maxville, which is showing two 350 kilowatt ultra fast chargers, neither of which is available. So that's no help at all. So we might progress on to Coffs Harbour. Coffs won't be much help as well, because there are two massive Tesla superchargers, both of which are Tesla only. So we'll just have to see what happens when we get a bit closer. Am I concerned? No, I'm not concerned. I'm sure we'll find something. So far, so good. 500 Ks down, fresh as a daisy. On the open road, it drives very nicely, and the suspension that I felt was too soft cornering around town is actually quite pleasant. Fairly heavy steering too, which I actually like. Heavier than you'd expect for a vehicle like this, so I like that. It's a little bit artificial, but it's still pretty good. As always, it's the challenge finding where the chargers are.
Turn right,
I
and
reckon.
then turn left.
There we go. I spot a charger.
You have arrived at your destination.
Okay.
Your route guidance is finished.
See if we can fit in here. Yeah, baby. Okay, it started. And just as I arrived, the other spot was taken, as you saw, and a Mercedes has pulled in just behind us, so he's waiting, the poor guy. Alright, this one's absolutely flying. What are we charging at? I was charging at 126 kilowatt, which is the best I've ever had. So as long as there's nobody waiting, I'll just sit here and keep charging, enjoying my pesto sandwich. In the time it's taken me to race in there, grab a quick sandwich and a coffee, it's gone from 49% to 75% in about 14 minutes. So it's flying. We're not holding anybody up, so I may as well just sit here, finish this off, and then we'll get going again.
A few moments later.
So we've got a Porsche Taycan waiting now, so we might do the right thing and clear off. Coffs Harbour. For as long as I've been alive, they've been talking about building a bypass past Coffs Harbour, and they're slowly, ever so slowly getting there. But you can't go through Coffs without checking out the big banana. The big banana. You know, in Australia we have big things, the big merino, the big lobster, the big wallaby, the big corn cob. In America everything's grand. You've got Grand Central Station, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Grand Theft Auto, grand, the Grand Canyon. But here in Australia things are big. Big prawn. Just round this corner, as I remember. There it is. You travel around the world to see that. Look at that. The big banana. Yay. Been there, done that. Let's go. Tell you a couple of things about this car. Firstly, this seat. I'm actually warming to it. It's quite firm, Mercedes style. We haven't been doing any corners, so the lack of lateral support hasn't really been an issue. It's been gun barrel straight. But it's got a really long squab that comes almost to the back of my knees. I know with Helen, who's got shorter legs than I do, that was a problem because she couldn't actually sit back in the seat. If you can't get the lumbar support behind your back, the seat's very uncomfortable. So for me it's great, but for her not so good. So if you've got short legs, be mindful, this seat may not suit you. Right about now it would be good to have some seat cooling, which I really like. Haven't got that. You need to spend a lot more money and get the GT line all-wheel drive version to get seat cooling. Next thing, the lane keep assist has been excellent the whole way. It's just kept me nicely positioned, no sudden turns, it just sits there. Here's a gentle bend. Occasionally it warns me to put my hands on the wheel, but if I don't, it just keeps doing its thing. There, it's told me now, put your hands on the wheel. I just ignore it, and yet it's followed a perfect line through that curve. Not once in 500 Ks has that made a mistake. Very good. We often whinge about that, but in this car, very good. It's pretty important when you've got big charges that they're actually working. And the one at Tyndale, we might have a little diversion just to see if it's working, because I've heard reports that it's been out of action, the whole thing, for 2 weeks, but it's still showing as being available. So let's go and check it out. The Tyndale chargers. Here's the test, the Tyndale charger.
You have arrived at your destination. Your route guidance is finished.
Yeah, but does it work? So it's saying this one's out of service, but the other one over there might be okay. Woo! This is just too exciting, isn't it? Even if it does work, it's still not very good just having one charger in the middle of nowhere, is it? Number 4, available. Plug in and start charging. Charge started. It works. Okay, so Tyndale's working after all. 6 minutes later. Alright, so we've got some real drama happening. There's a poor guy with an MG just here. He's just called a tow truck because he thought this thing wasn't working, because it wasn't working. So I've got to try and finish. Message from EV, return plug. It hasn't let go of the plug yet. Just give it a tick. You get this sometimes, it just won't let go.
Yeah, they're funny things, hey, sometimes.
Alright, so this poor guy in his MG ran out of volts, so we're going to let him in there. You don't need a card, you can do it if you've got the app, but if you haven't got the app...
You have to download the app.
So Matt, he's down to like 7% battery, not enough to get anywhere really, but the MG's range is a bit shorter than my Kia. So he's trying to download the app here. And so he needs email, confirmation, you know, 2-layer certification, all that stuff. And there's 1 bar of reception, so I don't fancy his chances. His company's called a tow truck, but we don't want to do that. It'd be much better if I just, you know, used my account if he can't get his going, and we put like $10 worth in and get him where he's going. Then he can worry about it at the next stop. Because you don't want to tow your EV, do you? I don't want to tow an EV. And just for the record, when I finished my charge just then, it didn't want to let go of the cable. This thing said please return the plug, but my car wouldn't let go. And sometimes you get that, so you will find on most cars there's often a secret release, and here it is. Look at that. Ejection cord right there. You've got to know where it is, and I should have known. So that releases the plug. Sorted. Let the trip continue. Bye, Matt.
See you later.
Well, Matt over there's sorted. He got his app loaded and he got it going, so amazing. 104 Ks to go. We've got 284 Ks charged. We should be fine. See. So here we have, in 110 zone, a guy in the fast lane doing 80 Ks an hour and just sitting there, oblivious. Oblivious to what's going on. Really? He was a remnant from the 70s, that guy. Hang on, I'm a remnant from the 70s. You get that, don't you? Alright, so we were able to help out Matt. He, like I, thought those Tyndale chargers were not working. So he was sitting there, broken down, but it worked for the Kia. So we had a crack, and eventually after a couple of goes, we got it going for his MG, so he's okay. So it's absolutely pumping in the charge for him at a 120 plus kilowatts, so he'll need about 10 minutes of that and then he'll get wherever he wants to go. Well, I don't need to stop again, but I decided to have one more go at Ballina. I'm having a really good day, beautiful scenery, and I'm far more chilled than I thought I'd be. And there's no better way to ruin that serenity than by playing a little bit of System of a Down. One of my favourite songs. We found it. We're in Ballina, and this will be our last charge if it works. Let's try Charge Fox again. 40%, which will be enough to get there, but I need some to get through tomorrow as well. So let's do it. Yeah.
The charging is a pain in the neck.
Yeah. I've come up from Sydney today and it's been hit and miss all along the way. Yeah, and the bad connections and other people stranded and, you know.
I've only had it for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm still learning the whole thing of how to get it done. And
yeah.
And of course, Schneider makes the charging stations.
Yeah.
So it irks me to have an ABB one.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's the opposition.
That's the opposition.
Okay. Port A, charging. Stop charging. Stop. Mullumbimby. I've never been to Mullumbimby before. It's a hard one to say, isn't it? Pretty little town. So I haven't told you where I'm going today. Obviously I'm not going to just turn around and drive home again. I'm a bit tired. Now on our channel you'd know we've never done affiliate marketing, product endorsements, even though we get asked all the time. But I just have to mention the resort I've been invited to. It's called Altitude 261 and as you can see it's fabulous. The link's down in the description and it's on Airbnb as well. I'll tell you more about it when I get there. Only another 10k to go, but the Kia will have to climb 1,000 feet of altitude into the rainforest in just the last 2 kilometres. And we're on a little front-wheel drive on loose gravel. Not the ideal vehicle. Oh, a very steep climb now. Now they've had major storms here a little while ago, and I heard the road's a bit chopped up, which could be a challenge for a 2-tonne front-wheel drive. How are our tyre pressures? 38, 38, 37, 38. They're still okay. And I must say this little EV5, this big EV5, has been a really good vehicle all day. Well, we've had a few charging issues today. We've made new friends. We've helped a guy out. We've had lots of chats. If ever you want to make friends, just get an EV and go and help people out at the chargers. I think EVs are cars for lonely people. Hope I don't meet someone going the other way because there isn't room for 2 of us. So go the Kia. See if we can just get through this. This is a real adventure. Well, the road's run out. I'm at somebody's place. I hope this is the place. There's an EV charger on the wall. This must be the place. Wow. Now this is a car channel, not a travel show, so I won't bore you too much. Suffice to say I had a very relaxing couple of days just hanging out, a bit of exploring and talking cars with my host, Rod. 1,000-year-old brush box. And look at the root systems on it. I don't think I've slept that soundly in quite a long time. I'm just not used to that amount of quiet, but check this out. Oh, that's hot. So if you and a dozen of your besties want a totally chilled getaway at a very classy and totally private resort, Altitude 261, the link's in the description. Just inland from Byron Bay, you can see it with the telescope, and they're on Airbnb as well. But all too soon, time to leave for some more charging adventures. And so begins the long trip home. I'll show you the routine. Whenever you get in the car, it's pretty straightforward, but you have to do this every time. Confirm, good morning, yes, hello, nice to see you. Settings, vehicle. Now I've got a button on the wheel to get me a little bit closer to this, but just so you can see, speed limit alerts off and driver attention warning, not looking forward. And that's pretty much it. That's all we've got to do. Then we'll go back to CarPlay, get Waze going, get a podcast going. Well, we're almost away, just nobody tell Kia that I'm eating a croissant in their press car. Righto, here we are, homeward bound, and we've just ticked over 1,000 kilometres. Look, regarding finding charging stations, I've got PlugShare, I've got Waze, I've got all sorts of apps, but I found the easiest way is simply to use the car's native stuff. In this car, it actually works really well. So you come in here, you go EV, and we've got two screens here. Firstly, this one, which shows you the usage of power, and I can see 95% of the energy has been used in driving the car. Makes sense. I would have thought it'd be about 99 to be honest, but apparently 3% is going on climate control, 2% on the electronics. We can precondition our car, we can activate that if we know we're going to charge somewhere, but in this climate we don't have to worry. Let's not worry about that. To find charging stations, we simply click on this little thing here, if you can click it. See, not easy, is it? The Tyndale one is the next one, 32 k's in front. We won't go there. At the moment I've got well over 300 k's range, so I'm not going to be concerned. I'm only going to stop as often as I have to on the way home, basically when I want some food and a pit stop. But if I did want to stop, the next one would be at Tyndale. We can have a look at it and see what it's like. And it says there are two chargers there, we know that, and they're both occupied. Occupied a day ago, another one occupied. Now I suspect that message means the thing's actually broken again, because they're both showing occupied for over a day. Interesting. In any case, we're not concerned. We'll go back to our Waze. We're cruising at exactly the speed limit. Whether you can use an EV for 1000k plus trips, you can decide, but it's given me a lot of confidence. If I was to go the inland route via the New England Highway, a little bit of a different story. There are only a couple of major towns along that route, Armidale, Tamworth, so that'd be a little bit more concerning. Listen, another random thought, and if I was starting to get concerned about my range, you can see I'm only filtering by 50 kilowatt charges or greater. If I was starting to get a little desperate, I can just say, no, let's see all charges, and then go back to our map, and a whole lot more pop up. And I can see there's a couple with a lot more availability if I was happy to go down to a 22 kilowatt hour charger. But I'm not. I'm going, no, we're just going to take fast charges today. Okay, Coffs Harbour coming up in 21. We could go to the BP Pulse, which has got 1 out of 2 available. But let's go to ChargeFox again. It's a little bit further, just 21 k's and 2 of 2, but importantly it's a high-speed charger. It's a 350 kilowatt charger. Let's choose that one. And there it is again, with a tourist in front taking a picture. There we go, in the middle of nowhere. Boom, we found it. And 50 kilowatts, keep going baby. 80 kilowatts, 90, 100, 130.
180.
No, it's not 180, it's 146 kilowatts, which is the maximum for this car, 147. So that's the best I've ever had. But look, nobody else here, just 2 chargers, probably not enough, but the colour looks quite nice, doesn't it, in the bright sunlight? It's a nice colour, this mahogany, but, you know, this car, if you've ever seen Red Dwarf, do you remember Robert Llewellyn, who played Crichton? He's very active in the EV world. I reckon he designed this car. I mean, just look at all these angles. Don't you reckon? Designed by Crichton. You know, it's not as if I'm waiting for the car. I just had a quick snack, went to the loo, come back, and we're already at like 80%. So between the Queensland border and Sydney, you cross a number of rivers. We didn't cross the Tweed because we didn't go quite that far up, but then there's the Tweed, Richmond, Clarence, the Macleay, the Manning, and the Hastings, which we're about to cross now. And then the Hunter, that'll be the last one, and then we'll be back in Sydney. Hastings River. Now, what would have been nice would have been to go inland to the Oxley Highway and cross the ridge and then come back Armidale, Tamworth that way, just to try something different. But unfortunately, the Oxley Highway is closed for some reason, the signs have been saying, so no, we're going to stick on the Pacific Highway. Righto, so here's a drama. That's interesting. First time ever, all 3 chargers are busy. Alright, so that was a bit of a fail. As usual, when you pull up here, you meet other EV people and they just want to have a chat. Honestly, the EV chargers are the new water coolers. Everybody wants a chat, tell you their story. But look, as you can see, we've got 3 cars here. He's just arrived, needs a bit of a charge. We've got a BMW and a Volvo, and they're busy, so we won't wait. So that's a fail. That's the first time we've had to wait for anybody But we're not waiting. We did stop at that one on the way up and it was successful,
Right. And then
but not today, it's not. Oi! He's got his left blinker on, but he wasn't turning. Good thing I didn't turn across him. So there you go, it's not always plain sailing. First time we've had to stop and wait. But we didn't wait. We're too impatient. We said, carry on. Hey, random important thought. This is the Pacific Highway, Highway 1. It needs to be better than this, especially if you start heading west over the mountains. Now, EV sales are climbing, except maybe for Tesla. So yes, the public infrastructure needs to improve, and it's a shame about the tritium thing. If you're going to the trouble of putting chargers somewhere where they'll get used, well, 1 or 2 is not very far-sighted. You need at least 5. And the slower they are, the more likely they'll be tied up with people waiting. But they don't need to be ultra-fast. So rather than 2 cabinets of 350 kilowatts, it'd be much better to have 6 cabinets capable of 100 or even 50 kilowatts, especially if one of them goes offline. So there's something worth considering. It did say that 2 out of the 3 chargers back there were available. In fact, none of the 3 was available. So can't always rely on that. Because when you check in, you can go, I'm here for how long? So I don't know how it knows whether they're available or not. ChargeFox would know. But how the car knows, I don't know how it knows or doesn't know, if you know what I mean, or don't know. Right, now this is an interesting one. We know the EV charger down here at Taree doesn't work. We're already down to 31%, range 130 Ks, starting to get mild anxiety. So why don't we stop at the Tesla Supercharger here in Taree? Now, interestingly, that does not show up on our list of available chargers. I don't think the Kia software knows about the Tesla chargers because they haven't been showing up. So I knew about it, so we'll go there. Let's see if Tesla can come to our rescue again. Tesla's a bit of a dirty word to some people at the moment, but if we can use their infrastructure right now, I'll be grateful. So here we are in the middle of beautiful downtown Taree. Haven't been here for a while because the freeway bypasses it, so we've had to detour about 10 Ks to get here. Is that our turn?
turn right.
Turn right here. And hopefully there's a Tesla Supercharger around here somewhere. And it says it's right here.
You have reached your destination.
Presto. There it is. Good heavens. What do you know? 3C. Start charging. And it's working. We're charging, it's ramping up. 80 kilowatts. The great god Elon Muscolini to the rescue. We're ramping 146.8 kilowatt. That's as fast as this car's capable of, so that's great. Thank you, Lord Elon. Don't wear a baseball cap in the Oval Office. It's just not on. I mean, look at this. A dozen high-speed chargers. Isn't it ironic in a way that Tesla's been the one twice on this trip that have provided the best infrastructure by far? Yes, but on both occasions they were a little bit off the beaten track. You know, we're about 10k off the freeway, but you know, it's here. And this is the perfect distance from Sydney. It's about 300 k's, so it's the sort of first charge for people heading north. It's only been here a year, but you can see they're already beefing up. Coles is just over behind those trees there. So this will be my last top up. We'll carry on now all the way home. So we've already backed at 70%, so 331 k's and it's only about 280 to go, so we should get there. That'll do. What have we spent? 38 bucks. Wow, that's a big one. And away we go. Last leg.
3 hours later.
There we are, 1,655 kilometres, 1,000 miles done, and we've only got 24 k's to go. We've got 14% battery, so we'll charge it home when we get back. Kia EV5, what can I say? It's been a totally relaxing experience. Who can drive 1,000 miles in a car and still feel pretty fresh? Okay, I split it up over 2 days, but best things about it, actually the things that I normally don't like. The seating positions and the seat that I thought was going to be too bench-like and too firm has actually been very good. The self-steering, like here we are around this bend, it's been great, and that's been actually very helpful. I'm still giving it my full attention, but it's just been great.
Now, when I was young and even more foolish, I remember doing the Mooloolaba to Sydney run in my shitty Ford Laser, 14 hours straight, no stops except for petrol. Pretty bloody stupid. But I grew up. You can't think like that in an EV on a road trip. So if you're one of those people who's stuck in the fast lane and refuses to stop because you'll let all the people through who you just spent 2 hours trying to get past, well, an EV is probably not for you. So chill. Remember, the holiday starts the moment you close the front door, not when you get there. So load up some juicy podcasts, have a good look at PlugShare before you go, don't leave on the first day of school holidays, and allow yourself a little bit of extra time just in case. With a car like this that does so much for you, you don't have to plan it to the nth degree. Well, here we are back in civilization. Trip finished. 21 hours and an average 19.6 kilowatt hours per 100k, which is pretty much what you'd expect. Travelling at exactly the speed limit the whole way. Thanks for coming on the trip. It's been emotional. Oh hey, you made it right through to the end of the video. Congratulations. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please share it with your motoring friends. And above all, click the little subscribe thing down here so you can see the latest videos when we bring them out, hopefully each week. I look forward to seeing you soon.